We don't hit home runs on this podcast. We work station to station. I'm back with Dustin, as always, and Liz alongside. We're going to talk a little bit more about the offseason. Dustin, unfortunately, you were not able to make the last episode where we talked about some signings and I guess kind of kick off the offseason a little bit. I wondered if maybe you give me some thoughts on what you wanted to see out of the Jays this offseason, maybe some players. We definitely dropped some players last episode, a bunch of which have all been signed.
Yeah, like you said, a lot of the guys that I would have talked about last episode are gone. It's tough to, have this conversation so late now with all of them going. But right now, I'm looking at Corbin Burns, obviously, and then, I don't know, a big bat of some sort. Whether that's, in trade or I don't know necessarily who's out there anymore on the outfield, but that's really what I'm looking at. Right now, it's like Corbin Burns is my big need. I would have liked Willy Adames, but he's gone. I would have liked, I guess, one that's out there is Teoscar Hernandez, which I'm a little kind of on the fence about, to be honest. I think, obviously I would love to have him back. He's such a great teammate. He's, fun sort of in the dugout kind of thing. And he hits bombs. But, he's not a great outfielder. He's getting older now. Are we, buying high on him after, kind of a good postseason that he had? So I'd be a little bit kind of wary, but if they signed him, I'd be happy. So those are the two really that I'm looking for. And then just more generally, shoring up the relief pitching, which they've started to do a little bit. We can talk about.
Well, Anthony Santander was on my list.
He's still out there.
He was definitely on my list in terms of a player that I think, another corner outfielder, probably in a similar kind of vein to Teo, and big bat, right? And I think that's what we need. Liz, did you have any names to throw out that we haven't heard yet?
Okay, here's the thing. So no, those are all like the standards names that we've been throwing around. But like, number one, like I think Teo is gonna be a Dodger if he can stay there. Like that winning culture is addictive. He wants to stay there, and I kind of want him to stay there. When we had Teo, like it was hard. People forgot how hard it was. He had some. I remember calling him the. I think it was the strikeout void of the our lineup for a long time, because like he would slump, and like he was benched for a while, and I think we sent him down once for bad defense, and like that was so frustrating to watch. But like it's fun to see him rake with somebody else. You know what I mean? It is fun, and it does make you think that could be us. But like, could it be? I don't know. I'm not really sure, because the point is with the Dodgers lineup, it's deep. So it's like, he can slam a bomb, but so could anybody in that lineup. And so would I love to have Teo back? Yeah, man, like those dimples and his like shining brown eyes, like he's beautiful, and it's fun to watch him slay. But I would rather we had Santander over Teo. And I just don't think he's coming back. I don't know. There's all these rumors today because he's working out with Vladdy, but like they're just buds. Buds hang out together in the off season, and I think we're just extra thirsty to want something to happen. I don't know. Maybe he's the one who's courting Vladdy to go to the Dodgers. That's an unpopular opinion. Yeah. And then I really was, this whole off season. Every time I have off season desires, nothing happens the way I want it to. Ever. And so this year I'm going totally zen and just saying, fix the bullpen, sign some bats. Like, oh yeah, you got to shore up some starters as well. But like, I'm just saying kind of zen about it. I don't really have targets. I'm going to see what happens at the end, where we are opening day, rather than get too invested now, because like the last season and the season before was hard on me. I was just upset. I hate losing. I hate that we're supposed to be contending right now and we're not. So I'm just treating this as like an exercise in, will the front office, mess us up again? And so this is also just like a testing of the front office. Can they make a Hail Mary here and save their jobs?
No, I just do want to say that, yeah, I kind of forgot about Santander. I would like him a little bit better than Teo. Just he's younger, and maybe there's not the baggage of having traded him. I don't know if that's a factor. But yeah, in general, I kind of agree with Liz that, I'm just kind of like, fix this, do what you need to do, spend money. I don't care who it is. The trades is probably where I'm looking at the biggest impact, because I don't know, on the free agent market, really the only big name right out there is Corbin Burns in terms of big name, big impact player. So I'd love to see that, but otherwise, just do your job.
Liz, will it still be fun to see Teoscar Hernandez in a Red Sox uniform?
No. Oh God, no, absolutely not.
That's the rumor.
No, this is the thing. I will be full of rage. I
think he would be an incredible fit in Fenway Park, to be honest. But yeah. I would not like to see it.
Really? Yeah, Alex, why don't you join the Red Sox then? Get out of here.
I'm just saying that green monster, right?
Yeah, he'll launch over it.
He's just gonna stroke him right over the green monster, right?
I still can't see him choosing the Sox over the Dodgers when they can get another ring.
Yeah.
It's if the Dodgers want him, that's the question.
The Red Sox are supposedly on the up though, right? So you're like, are you gonna catch that wave as it starts, right?
Oh yeah, but here's the thing though. You got Shohei Ohtani on your team. You're a part of a winning team. You're somewhere warm and lovely. I don't know. I just can't see him coming back east.
At the end of the day, it's priorities, right? And every player is different. There was an interview with Scott Boras today, and he kind of talked about how every player is different and priorities of wanting to stay in certain hometowns, what's being closest to their family. Players that just want money, right? And every player is different, and his role in the whole process is to basically provide them the most amount of options and information that he can put in front of them, so that essentially they make an educated decision. I can really see Teoscar Hernandez in LA it really makes the most amount of sense, but we're talking about professionals too, right? And if the Red Sox are maybe offering a little bit more money, like, you only have so many years to make as much money as you can too. So I could see that as well. That would obviously not be good for the Jays. Also not good for the Jays, I guess. Not really unexpected. Juan Soto is a New York Met. It's exactly what I expected. I'm not sure I quite expected this much money. Kreger had texted me on Sunday night saying, hey, I think Soto just signed, man, with the Mets. And so I finished what I was doing and started to look at it. Kreger actually posted this kind of breakdown by the numbers. So $51 million a year, 15 years, of course, is the contract. $51 million a year. That would mean he's making $4,250,000 a month. That is $980,769 a week, $139,726 per day. Wait for it; it's about to get really stupid. $5,822 an hour, $97 a minute, and then
Jesus.
he's still making over $1. He's making $1.62 a second, Dustin, once this deal kicks in. So
that's if he plays every game every day, if he
even if he doesn't, right? Like, this is, and I Dustin, maybe give me some thoughts on this, how this all wrapped up.
I mean, like you, I kind of expected it. This was a much different situation than Shohei for probably most Blue Jays fans in terms of the expectations. My expectations were really low. Obviously, I was surprised a little bit, and some inkling of hope kind of welled up in me when I saw that the Blue Jays had made the largest offer, but that was quickly kind of tamped down by the fact that I reminded myself that the Mets are in this conversation, and that Steve Cohen was probably going to just throw whatever he could at him. I know he, I don't think we have all the specific details of the whole contract, but I know there was like a signing bonus, $75 million, and there's escalators that could take it up to 800, if he wins MVPs, and there's, championships and all that stuff. So, I mean, it's crazy. I don't know. From a Blue Jays perspective, it's just I would hope that this it didn't take away from our chances to sign some other people. Like Willy Adames went pretty quickly there. And like I said earlier, I hoped that we had been in on him, but I guess not. I don't know if this whole conversation had taken away that opportunity or not, but, I would hope not. And then, it's just like the whole conversation around this shows that the front office is willing to spend money. I think that's true, but it's just getting a little bit old at this point. And I just want to forget $70 million or $51 million a year on one player. Just like spend $50 million on 2-3 players and bring me something to be excited about. Because, Juan Soto being on some other team isn't exciting. Obviously, I think this is probably the best outcome in general. I think I said that to you. I didn't think that the Blue Jays were getting him. And the fact that he's not in the East, we're going to see him maybe, once every so often, on interleague play, and it just leaves the AL East wide open. And, we can laugh at the Yankees for coming in second here.
I was so happy. Like I said on the Twitters, I was like, when the Yankees lose, everybody wins, right? Like, so delighted.
I do agree that the best case scenario in terms of immediately Soto being not in the East is, that's obvious. Yes, we don't have to play him. We play him once a year, I guess. Either I would think they played that we went to the Mets series, Liz. So I would think they would be on the road against the Mets this year. So they'd really only play them once. But the knock-on effect of a team like the New York Yankees not getting their number one priority is that they start to go crazy and start to spend money and just basically start gobbling up everybody. And you will see this in other sports where like these teams that are supposed to win and then they get picked off by like another team that's maybe younger or doesn't have enough as much money. They just go crazy spending money and they're basically like, we're never going to let this happen again. Now, the Yankees signed Max Fried. Yeah, so they've already signed Max Fried, right? Like that was basically the response. Is they went out like the next day and signed the best left-handed pitching, the best left-handed pitcher on the market, right? So we'll see what else the Yankees do. I think it's natural that we should be worried about what happened last year and this year. Now, they've probably already brought in better players than they did last year because that's how bad the last offseason was. But I remain skeptical and worried about what this front office is going to do and what they can do. I was a big Willy Adames guy. He's basically doesn't get injured. He can play multiple positions. I think he would slot in really well, and he's a really good guy in the clubhouse. But he's off the board, right? He's with Matt Chapman in San Francisco now, so there's nothing we can do about that. I think we'll probably just tie up a couple more, I guess, news pieces since we last recorded. Jordan Romano. Actually, the night that we were recording, and we missed this because we were talking about other things. But while that happened, that's when Jordan Romano was non-tendered, becomes a free agent, and now signs a 1-year deal with the Phillies. Interestingly, I found he signed for was a 1 year $8.5 million, which is $1 million more than he was expected to get in arbitration, I believe, which is about 7.5. Maybe start with Liz on this one. Romano's been around on the team for a while. Give me your thoughts on his exit and ending up with the Phillies.
Yeah, I don't know. He said he was surprised by it. And he said he never thought he was going to be back next season, right? And the plan was always to ramp him up this season again. So there's two things there. Which is like, of course, there's something maybe the front office knows or that Atkins knows about his health, but they said that wasn't it either. They were like, no, we didn't have concerns about his elbow. Okay, so they didn't have faith in his performance. And like, okay, I'm cool with that. I think, what was he worth? He was worth what, $7 million? They're going to sign him for, or the Phillies signed him for 7?
So the Phillies signed him for 8.5.
Yeah.
And I read he was expected to get around 7.5 in arbitration.
Yeah. So was he worth 7.5? I'm not really sure. He had a bad year. He looks like he was going to be transitioned out of the closer position, but like, they're like, oh, we're going to put in Chad Green. Like, really? Like, that's the plan, boys? I feel like there was no pomp and circumstance when they DFA'd him at all. Did they DFA him? Was that what happened?
Non-tendered him.
When they non-tendered him. Yeah. There's like, so there wasn't even like a tweet that's like, but it made it special. It was like, hey, thank you so much, Romano. Like, hopefully we'll find each other again. Something cute and romantic. Nothing. Which I thought was kind of mean. And like, that's your guy. He was like, he had those lights. It was cool. He had to watch it slip away. And now he's like, oh, I'm nobody again, and that's his boyhood team. So it's a little bit of a bummer there, but I don't know if I had faith in him. And the thing is, I'm worried about this perspective. Our bullpen was such trash that it distorts our view. Like when they got rid of Genesis Cabrera, who like was a babe, like honestly, but when they got rid of him, everyone's like, oh, how could you get rid of the best part of our bullpen? And like, yeah, maybe he was the best part of our bullpen, but he was trash. Right? He was trash amongst more trash. And like nobody else picked him up, which is a good sign that like our team did something good there. Did someone pick him up?
I'm going to correct you, Liz.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
He did, but he signed a minor league deal.
Yeah, sorry. They picked him up with a minor league deal. Like, right? Like that's what I mean there. So nobody picked him up in the majors. So that's a good sign. So I'm really worried that my point of view about the status of Romano and our bullpen is tainted by my past romanticism about the man and how bad our bullpen is. But do you guys have faith that he was worth $7.5 million?
Well, here's my take. First, I'll say I think there is a thank you Jordan tweet that the Blue Jays official
that came out when he got traded. That came out later. Like that came out like weeks later.
Oh, so when he got so the day he signed, you're saying that post was thrown up there, Liz?
Yes. When he was
December 9th. So yeah, 2 days ago, they said thank you, Jay. Thank you.
Yeah,
Jordan.
but not when they
cut him.
No.
Yeah.
Well, because they were still hoping that he would come back at a lesser amount, right? That's why.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, here's my take on what happened. I mean, when they first non-tendered him, I was like, well, like Liz says, maybe the elbow is not great, and okay, maybe they know something or whatever. Like, and yeah, he was kind of on a decline. But I mean, when I see him get signed for $8.5 million, I'm like, wait, there's value there. So even if Blue Jays, let's say he wasn't in the plans, they didn't want to use him on the major league. If there's no value there, or if there is value there, other teams want him. Somebody else wants him, right? The Phillies want him for $8.5 million. Pick him up for $7.5 and trade him, right? You just let him go for nothing. You let him go for $0. You could have picked him up, gone through the arbitration and then traded him if there was some interest out there. And so that's a failure on the team. I mean, they just whiffed on a guy that had some value and they let him go for nothing. That's what I'm seeing in it. Even if you didn't want him on the team, you just let some asset go for zip.
So the thing is that when you make a statement that, it's not about his health, well then what is it? Right? Like Jordan Romano, I believe someone correct me if I'm wrong. Like, is he not the Blue Jays all-time save leader?
Yeah, I think so. That is correct.
Maybe.
Because I did clapping for something, and I think it was that one time.
All right. You put down your beer to clap that one time. It was probably Romano's all-time save.
It probably was that
record.
Probably.
Well, as an aside, I'm gonna miss Tsunami as like the whole 9th inning. It wasn't the best version of Tsunami as an aside, but I'm gonna miss that anyway.
So he's third. He's third, just the
third. Okay, thank you.
Behind Tom Hankey and Dwayne Ward.
Okay, well there you go.
And Tom Hankey has like double.
They would have done it like they would have said like he is the best Canadian closer of all time. They would have like done it like that.
Did he not? Okay, so did he not maybe have like the most in a season? Maybe is that?
Can you give honestly, me that? Man, I don't. I was just clapping. You know how I be.
All right, it's all good. I'm comfortable in the fact that I'm wrong, but I don't understand. Like, you know, you're talking about a long tenured player, someone who is from Toronto. He's from Markham, right?
Markham maniac.
He's contributed a lot to this team. If his health isn't an issue, like I don't know. It's just, I get that it's a business decision. That as soon as I saw it, I was like, well, it's, you know, it's baseball's a business, right? Like that's what happens. But I just, it doesn't make me feel very warm and snuggly, right? But then again, I'm not really warm and snuggly about this front office.
Yeah,
so.
This front office isn't warm and snuggly at all. Like, for example, again, press conference, do you think Vladdy Guerrero's a generational player? No. No. Like,
yeah, he beat around the bush and said no, basically. So
no, he said one day he could be, and instead of being like, you know, we appreciate him so much, and like puff puff puff, love, and we look forward to negotiating with him and extending this deal. Nothing like that. They're cold.
Let's hold off on flogging the front office for a few more minutes.
Yeah.
Because I have a lot to say about them. But Yimi Garcia, you know, we talked about bullpen help. Yimi Garcia is back. 2 years, $15 million. Any thoughts on this one? Like, it just seems like, he was one of our best bullpen pitchers before we traded him last year. So bringing him back seems somewhat of an obvious move. Like, I don't know. It's like, is anyone angry at this? Like out in the Twitterverse?
No, this is great. This is what we need. The bullpen was probably the worst bullpen I've seen in a long time last year. And it's probably one of the biggest opportunities this team has to sort of get some more wins over last year. So, you know, that's one step towards the right direction. I like Gimme. I guess the only maybe hiccup was I heard that he had like some injury issues at the end of last year. I don't know much about it, but something about his shoulder or his elbow was a little bit barking him towards the end of last year. But I'm sure he's fine, and he's been great.
Liz, does this increase the opportunities of you and his brother?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think the language barrier was just too much. All right. I think it was just too much there. But like, maybe I don't hate it, but we'll see. You know, I think you know, we're gonna have to see. I'm open to romance. Let's just see. But I will say this, back on the topic of Yimi Garcia and not his brother, who like we don't even know if it was actually his brother. I don't know if it's actually his brother or not. But
oh, you think it was like maybe a catfish?
No, I think it was like maybe his cousin.
Ooh, cousin. All right.
I think they were definitely related, but like, it's like, you know what, guys? Turns out language actually matters. It does really matter when communicating with somebody. But I think that like in terms of this trade. And like Yimi's also a babe. Let's just remember. In my babe report, I've got Yimi was a babe, and Genesis Cabrera was also a babe. So that's two babes today. And so I'm excited only because this is a move that like I'm not scratching my head like why did they do that? I'm like, okay, this makes sense, and it could be an easy filler to support our bullpen, and it's also nice to see somebody being like, yeah, I'm good to go back to you guys. You know? Yeah,
and I don't think it's quite often that we we really see that. Like we kind of talked about with Danny Jansen. It's like, well, you know, if you were going to come back, then why would you kind of trade him in the first place? But yes, Dustin, just as an aside, Liz was receiving DMs from, I guess we're saying
we don't know who it was.
Jimmy Garcia's. It was supposedly his brother.
It was a relative. It was a relative.
Okay, it's a relative.
It was a relative, and I mean, I did end up blocking him because I just couldn't sustain that amount of attention, especially when he would call me on the phone and I wouldn't know how to speak Spanish to him.
Wow. Well then,
speaking of speaking Spanish. Following the Soto signing with the Mets, the Jays traded Spencer Horwitz essentially for Andres Gimenez. I'm not going to say much right now because I have a lot to say in a moment. Dustin, can you give me your thoughts on this one?
So my initial reaction was not great. I liked Spencer Horwitz. I was Glad to see some homegrown talent that could actually hit some bombs, and I could kind of see him rounding into a decent replacement for Vladdy if he didn't end up signing. So that was my initial reaction, but after talking about it a little bit with you and through text and just looking at the trade, and also seeing that we also got a relief pitcher in there who's actually looks pretty good. I think this is a pretty decent trade, with the caveat that we need to back it up with some other moves, right? If this is the only move, then this isn't great. But I think a solid defensive second baseman who had at least his ceiling, at least what we saw in 2022. He had a pretty good season. If he can get back there, it's just another kind of, if he can rebound, if he can, hit a little bit more, this is a great player. It's unfortunate that we got, a handful of those guys on the team right now. It's like, if Dalton Varsho bounced back, and if this guy bounced back, and if, Bo Bichette has a better year, then, we're looking good. And that's kind of always the conversation. And it's hard to sort of believe it, again, after, however many years of having that conversation and it not coming true. So, if they can back it up with like Santander or Teoscar or a trade of another, somebody that can hit 30, 40 home runs, I'm happy about it. Otherwise, I won't be happy overall on the season. But it's a good trade, sort of in a vacuum, I think.
I'm good with it. That's my update. I agree with Dusty.
Okay. Number one, on the face of it, I don't like this trade, okay? And it's not that I have a problem with Andres Gimenez. He actually seems like a good ball player, right? In fact, Dustin, he's not a solid defender. Like, he is an exceptional defender.
Champion defender.
Right? He's an exceptional defender. My issue is that Blue Jays management seem to trip over their own feet all the time, right? Because they're doing the same thing, right? And you hit on it when you were talking there. It's players who, if we can get more offensively, right? So they find these defensive players, right? These players that are, well, mostly defensive players. And then it's essentially like, well, we'll get them to work with our guys and we'll try to improve the offensive side. And even in Ross's statement to Hazel May, like they said they did their work and they feel like the offensive can be there. Like, how about you get a player that it is there, right? Like, it fucking is there. And this is the problem with this team and this management.
You're worried about another Team Gold Glove in a limp bat situation. I hear you.
Well, I hear you, but that doesn't make it a bad trade, right?
No, for sure. I here's the thing, Dustin, is that if we were all fans of the New York Yankees and not the Toronto Blue Jays, who finished first and went to the World Series, and Gleyber Torres walked out the door and they're like, okay, and they lost Soto, and they're like, okay, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna replace Gleyber Torres, who's absolute dog shit defensively, with a platinum gold glover, right? Like, that makes sense to me. Except we're talking about a last place team, right? A last place team that had trouble scoring and has had trouble scoring for more than 2 years, right? And your first move is to bring in a defensive player who's, like, as I said, exceptional defensively, right? And basically he had one career year in 2022 and he signed this big deal. Okay. Also, okay, here's his contract. Okay, so this year, $10.5 million. Not bad, right? Not bad.
Who cares about money? Oh, fuck. It's not your money.
It's not my money, okay?
Okay, go ahead.
But wait to see where this goes. So this year's 10.5, next year 15, and then in 27, 28, 29, there's a club option for 2030. But all 3 years, $23.5 million. Like, this guy's going to be on George Springer-like money, right? Like,
and
this is a salary dump by the Cleveland Indians.
Yes.
They found a sap to take one of their
'Cause
players.
they're poverty and Blue Jays aren't.
Exactly. But they found a sap to take this player
Why are we the sap? Because he makes a lot of money?
for $23.5 million.
So what? We're paying George Springer 20 whatever million dollars for whatever limp-wristed BS he's throwing out there.
Of course. But the point is that they know, they've already told us that there is a limit to what they're going to spend, right? Whether they, whether they want to impersonate Steve, they've told us this, and they're gonna go right up to right below the luxury tax, right? That's how this is gonna go. Whether they want to, moonlight as Steve Cohen or whatever they think of themselves, this is what they're gonna spend, right? So there is a limit.
I don't believe that.
They're going to spend more than the Cleveland Indians, but the Cleveland Indians decided that, you know what, the back end of this deal pretty bad. You're right. It's heavily weighted to the back end, and this is what the Cleveland Indians do, right? They're going to get a player, they're going to pay them less, and then move them on and have someone else pay the big salary. And yes, the Jays can afford this, right? I'm not sold that this is a player that you want to pay this much money for, right? Again, it's another defensive player.
Well, but you haven't watched him. We haven't seen him play. You say you see numbers on the line.
It's a lot of Hator-ade.
Numbers went down. Okay, he had 2 bad years after a pretty good year. Like if he's who he was in the 2022, I wouldn't mind paying him more than $23 million a year, right? If he can be the Gold Glove.
If.
I know but Vladdy had a couple of slump years there over the last, not last year, but the 2 years before. We were talking about, maybe we should keep Bo Bichette instead of Vladdy. And then he has his year. Players slump and they come back. I know that's like loser talk. Like, maybe if he comes back. But at a certain point, you got to look at a guy and you got to say, well, maybe this is worth it. This is worth taking a gamble on it.
There's just other needs, Dustin. Like, how about third base? How about a corner outfielder?
But you're acting like the Blue Jays have some kind of salary cap. I don't think that's true. I think that they say that and that's, in the public. I don't think that's true. I think that if they want to play, if they have a player that they want, I think that Ed Rogers will say yes, and the board will say yes if they can make the argument that this is a good player and it'll bring wins and it'll put butts in seats. That's what they care about. I don't think that, whatever Ross Atkins yaps about, we're gonna be around where we were last year. I don't believe that. I believe whatever they want to pay for whatever player that they want, that they think is good and it has good value, they'll get.
So you're okay with getting a mostly defensive player when clearly there's a lot of holes and this team needs offense?
I'm okay with this player.
Like his OPS plus, Dustin, his OPS plus has been below 100 like the majority of his career, right? Like he's a below average hitter.
That's true.
Not 2022.
What? That's his one season. His one season.
Out of how many seasons has he played? 5.
So he has 5 years, right? He has 5 seasons. He had a rookie year where he was bang average. It was exactly 100. He had 2022 where it's 141. Everything else is below. So he has 3 seasons. Oh, he's a below average hitter. This is the same conversation, Dustin, that we had with Dalton Varsho. He's a better hitter than Dalton Varsho. He hits like 250s, right? So considerably better. But this is infield Dalton Varsho.
Look, I'm not saying that he doesn't need to be better.
And this is what we don't need. We don't need this. We need bats.
That's the implying that they're not going to fill in. So the rumor is they're going to fill in all the bats later. If you're looking for this guy to be all of your solutions, I know you're like, they're lying. And they are lying. For real. They are lying. They are bullshitting.
They're bullshitters. This team is run by 2 bozos, man.
Oh my God.
Fucking bozos. Okay, and I'm going to go to the second part of this too, Dustin. So Spencer Horwitz, he was a first baseman, right? So this seems to lead to the fact that, well, if you don't need Spencer Horwitz, you're probably going to sign Vladimir Guerrero Jr., right? Like that would be the reasonable next step, right? Because we don't. If Spencer Horwitz is if he's surplus, well, then you're going to sign Vladdy, right? If you don't sign Vladdy.
Right, and it also opens up a DH spot, right? Getting rid of him opens up a DH spot to sign somebody like Santander or whoever or trade for a big bat, right?
The DH spot, they're just going to wash through. There's not going to be like a designated DH. They're just going to, Santander is going to go there. Vladdy's going to go there when he needs a day off. Springer, they'll just wash whoever through that spot that they can. So you have to sign Vladdy now, right? And after this whole Soto shenanigans, right? Vladimir Guerrero Jr. just got more expensive, right? Like this is the Vladimir Guerrero Jr. situation that we're going to talk with Liz and her position on this in a moment, but he just got more expensive, right? Like this is another situation that this team is mismanaged, right? And listen, I'm fine if maybe the Vladimir Guerrero Jr. deal is done and they're just waiting to announce it. I'm great. I will be over the moon, right? But if you go throughout this offseason not signing Vladdy and you're going to trade Spencer Horwitz, who I think we can safely say can hit at the major league level, right? He's not going to be exceptional. He's not going to be Bo Bichette most years. Not going to be Vladimir Guerrero Jr., but he can hit, right? And what are we getting back? We're getting
how many seasons has he hit?
It's a very small
right. One season.
It's a very small sample size, right? Mm-hmm. But
so you're confident in one season of Spencer Horwitz, but not one season.
Well, no, it's been 3 seasons, right? So,
one good season.
This isn't, but doesn't I feel like you're sugarcoating something that is like this is known, right? Like all the foul territory guys are like, yeah, he's amazing defensively. He's not really much on the bat, right? Like
I'm not saying he's great on the bat,
right?
I'm not saying he.
But we don't need this. We don't need this. This is the point.
These are not the droids you're looking for.
Right. He's not. This isn't the answer to the offensive woes. I agree with you, but you're acting like they're saying it is the answer to the offensive woes. This isn't. This is just a valuable player they were able to get. Who the Guardians were down on, like you said, their poverty. They're looking to trade a guy who's coming up on big money, who had a couple down years, and Blue Jays have a guy who came up and hit some bombs, and maybe Spencer Horwitz, you're selling high on him. Who knows? Maybe in the next 2 years he has a slump.
That is possible,
right? And so you're selling high, buying low, and he's coming off 2 low years. I'm not talking about the money. I'm not talking about the contract. We're talking about buying low in terms of his value in trade. Like if he had 2022, his numbers in 2022 for the last 3 seasons, right? If last year was his big season, I don't think you get him for Horwitz.
Probably not. Well, maybe not. I don't know. Like Cleveland, as I said, they are a special case where they're going to look to move on players strictly because of salary, right?
Yeah.
And they're gonna keep certain players like Jose Ramirez, who are cornerstones, and when they see opportunities to move on other players, they're gonna do it. Spencer Horwitz, by the way, wanted by another team. He
was flipped to
the Pirates, right? So I actually think that the Cleveland Indians probably wanted pitching, and the Jays didn't really have it or didn't want to offer it. And so because Spencer Horwitz, I think, was traded for 4 pitchers today.
3, yeah. I think they were trying to work out a 3-way deal, and they couldn't finalize it, so they just did the Blue Jays Guardians and then worked it out later.
And then figured it out after.
Yeah. My point is that in a vacuum, this is a good trade. This is a valuable guy, great defense, and if he can hit even 80% of his 2022 season, it's a great player to have. Is he the answer to the lack of home runs? No, of course. Even if he had his best year, he wouldn't be the answer to the lack of home runs. Obviously, like I said at the top of this conversation, you need to pair this deal with a big bat or 2 to answer that question. So I think looking at this deal as like, this is solving a problem. No, they're solving a different problem. They're solving their second base needs. Also, what this does, I'm sure if this guy is so great at second base, I'm sure he can play shortstop when Bo Bichette inevitably goes next year and we don't sign him, because I know they're not going to sign him. He wants to go free agency. this guy can slide over and be our shortstop for the next 3 or 4 years. And, there's some question about his bat. And maybe I'll be eating crow on him, 3 years down the line when he's making $20 whatever million and he's a black hole in our lineup.
Too many of them already.
I'll say you're right, Al.
Yeah.
There's a way to solve the offensive problems in other spaces than second base. And, like second base isn't where you want a 40 home run hitter. I mean, it'd be nice, but
no, I would just like to see, as I said, third base, another corner outfielder. And if they don't, it's an if, right? We'll see how the rest of this offseason plays out. And it's what I see is a fundamental flaw in the way they identify players, right? They identify a player who is good defensively and they're like, well, we're going to, we think that he can do this. Well, you thought that Dalton Varsho was, could be some semblance of a decent offensive player. Newsflash, he's not, right? He's terrible right now and has been for 2 straight years, right? And he showed some glimpses at the beginning of last season, but he's not, right? He's not even going to hit league average. He's going to be a below average major league player at the plate, right? And it just seems like it's another one, right? And it's a hope and a prayer that he's going to improve and not be what he's been most of his career already, right? That's where I'm at with that one.
I mean, Dalton Varsho's close to average.
No, he's not. League average is like 240, right? Dalton Varsho hits like 210.
What's his OPS plus? OPS plus last year was 98. So he's 2 ticks below average. So he's average.
Yeah, well, because he hits home runs, right? Batting average is nowhere to be seen. Like
21
right
he was
now,
102,
the Jays
22, 108. Yeah, it was 84 and 23. It was a shit year in 23.
Yeah,
but he was okay last year, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, he's not who we want. You want somebody better in the outfield, obviously.
No, but I'm okay with again. Like I don't hate Dalton Varsho, right? The problem is that there's like Dalton Varsho and there's George Springer and Alejandro Kirk and now Andres Gimenez. All these guys that are like, like not that great. Like we're just clogging the lineup with guys who are just not that good offensively. And where is it getting us, right? I don't think it's going to get us anywhere. It's going to get these guys fired. So, and maybe it's for the better. We're going to take a break, and we're going to talk about Liz's latest moment in the sun.
Word.
All right, Liz. So
that's me.
I open that's you. I open my my Facebook and I see your face plastered all over it in a Mike Wilner article. It seems like you have made a stance when it comes to Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
I will. Okay, this is what I will say. The whole article was about Mike's like, do you want to do like a recap piece? And I'm like, sweet, I'll do that. So the whole article was about just like making friends and like my love of baseball and making buddies. And in the last line, I just say, I will not be extending or I will not be purchasing tickets until they extend Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Now, I will add some context, not to that piece. So I like the article. Article was great. Loved it. But then I also log on to Facebook and I've been made into clickbait. Somebody has made a clickbait with my face looking rough that said, it said this lovely quote, which I don't agree with for the record. Sign Vlad or I won't come. One celebrity fans, ultimatum. And I'm like, and I
You're
look
a
and
celebrity now.
Yeah, apparently, like what? I'm not. But like, I was literally like in my like jammies, roasting vegetables and watching a Hallmark movie on a Saturday. And I'm like, I look at my Facebook and everyone's talking shit about me. And I'm like, what? And I was like, why? So, because I will also add further context. So you cannot post news stories on Facebook. So you have a lot of people making blogs of news stories to post. And that was that angle that was taken there. So everyone's like, we don't care about her or whatever. And I was like, guys, like, I'm a part of this Facebook group. What's up? I post here all the time. And then they were like kind of bitchy with me. And then I turned it around somehow. I was just like, you guys fell for clickbait. You fell for clickbait. It's a misquote. So anyway, and now I've got another interview with that Facebook group owner, who's a guy I'm buddies with, which he did interview with me. It was lovely. So, but I will say this. So the whole thing is that I don't know if people understand this, but I buy a lot of my tickets before the season starts. A lot of people do. So I'll buy like a package. Often I'll buy the leadoff package, which is ready. It's $60, maybe $80 for 2 months of spring baseball. It's every game in the 500s for like $5 or $10 a game. So it's like $80 or $120.
Steal.
I know it's the best deal. And it was so good that I used to go in if I was downtown and I didn't want to go to the baseball game, I'd still like zoop in and get hot dogs and leave. like for the dollar dog nights. But anyway, but the point is this, is it an ultimatum? Not really. I'm mostly just telling them about my fiscal choices. But like, I don't want to give you my money if I don't know the on-field product. Like, even if I'm going to buy, I was looking at like a quarter season. It's like, I'm not going to give you my money until you can show me some light at the end of this horrible tunnel, which you fumbled for the last, I would say 3 years. Yeah, 2.5, 3 years. So it comes off as saucy, but really it's just like good fiscal responsibility of like, I'm not giving you my money yet. I have no faith in you. And it's like, if they don't re-sign Vladdy, will I stop going to games? No, I might go to 1 or 2 games a week. Maybe. I'll watch from home, but like, I'm not really keen on spending my money at that ballpark. And if they don't show some hustle and show some kind, if they're just so bad at building a baseball team,
This is what I was getting at.
Yes, I know. And you're correct.
Right?
Like, you're correct in that. And so there's 2 ways to look at it. Like, there's the doom and gloom because they're terrible. We're operating within a flawed framework of baseball, right now because they're building the framework in which we're supposed to win in. Truth. But we also are in this horrible framework. So like, maybe they can trade their way out of it. I don't know. I doubt it. But yeah. So then I was in the news again. So I wasn't, it was funny. Like, the point of the article wasn't about the Vladdy thing, but when I found out that Wilner had put that line in the end, I was like, hell yeah, fuck those guys. Like, yeah, like that is like what I believe in. And, but like, is it some kind of boycott? No, it's my own personal choice. Will I be at games? Yes. Will I be shouting at the television most every night? Yeah, I'm going to be doing that. But like, no, I'm not getting fat and spending $60 a day throughout the week to have you guys just lose on field because you guys have too much hubris to re-sign your star who says he wants to be here for his career. And now he's liking pictures of himself in a Boston Red Sox uniform. Can't get behind that, boys. Can't do it.
Well, I wanted to ask, so because I wasn't really aware, I don't really go near Blue Jays groups on Facebook. It's kind of
no, don't stay out of it. They're hella toxic. They're hella toxic.
Yeah. So, so you're getting stick. Are you getting stick as like, oh, it's her again? Like,
no. Because like, what's funny? So this is the funny part. So somebody else made a similar kind of piece of clickbait in a different Facebook group for the Blue Jays, and it just said, "Fan is sick and tired of this front office," and everybody loved that because nobody reads the article, nobody reads the accompanying anything, right? You just see the headline,
right?
And that was it. So it's like, and it's like the thing is, it's like if the headline was, injured fan donates thousands of dollars to kids hospital, which is true, they love that, and it's like I'm the same person every time, but there's. You got a lot of keyboard warriors who don't go to games, who watch a lot on TV. So they don't understand the investment that fans that fans who are going to games go. Yeah, right. So fans who are spending hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on this team outside of, their cable packages, of like what that means to be like, I'm investing in a product that like they don't really seem to care about. But I care about it,
Let me just say that I do think that they were building a good team a few years ago, and then the wheels came off, right? And so I don't know,
like with Simeon.
Well, yeah, like when they traded for Teo, and they were kind of like there was, their Vladdy and Bo were coming up, and there was something brewing,
yeah,
right?
Agreed, and then
something happened. I don't know what it was. Maybe the guy that like runs the spreadsheets changed or something in the front office. Right, like he's highlighting the wrong column. I don't know. I'm joking, but
yeah.
I have zero faith that like I actually think if you go back maybe 4 years, and I think there was luck. Listen, luck plays a big role in sports, right?
Absolutely.
And right, not that what 2021 not making the playoffs, was it? Dustin?
Man, that was
Yeah, by
brutal.
one
Right?
game. I
Like,
cried. I wept.
By one game. Right?
That was a team
like,
that could have won the World Series. That was-
exactly. Like that because they built a good team, right? And somewhere the wheels have fallen off. Most of us, when we are wrong and we make mistakes, you gotta eat your humble pie. I don't think these guys they love to be the smartest people in the room,
Absolutely.
right? And I'm sorry, I really don't like those people, right? Like,
No.
I really don't like people that are like, oh, I gotta be, you know what? That means you're around a bunch of dumb people, right?
Always.
I want to be in a room that make me listen. Just like Dustin, just like Newmarket Men's Baseball League, I was bottom half, right? I was bottom half. That's where I want to be. I want to be constantly having to compete, right? Punching way above, right? Rather than I'm frustrated because the way that I see it is they just constantly mismanage this team. Every situation, like, okay, so I was talking with Rob this week, distraction while not doing work, and he said I would have liked this. He's like, if they came out and said we are interested in Juan Soto, he's a great player, blah blah blah, but we have other plans. We're gonna do other things this offseason. He's like, I would have respected that, right? Because the chances of the Jays signing Juan Soto was, it was pretty low, right? Like, it wasn't as low as the other 25 teams in the league or whatever that weren't, participating. But we've already missed out on players, right? That maybe would have helped. Like, I would have liked to see Willy Adames maybe as a third baseman, right? I would have liked to see that a lot. But it's just I'm seeing things that it's like, okay, the same mistakes, we're gonna do this again, right? And based on last offseason, has to be one of the worst off seasons in professional sports.
It has to be. And what made it worse is that they knew the year before.
God.
They knew the year before these weren't the guys. So, like,
oh my God. Well, yeah, like, so they weren't the guys, so let's re-sign them,
Yeah.
right? Like, here's your Christmas gift, Toronto Blue Jays fans. Kevin Kiermaier's coming back, and guess what? He's going to be worse than ever, right, at the plate, right?
Yeah, but like, I was stoked. I know it's the worst because, like, again, I was excited about that. We all know because
I can tell you where I was. I was at a fucking Montana's in Collingwood. I was like, what is going on?
Yeah,
Like,
I was-
why are we doing this?
we signed
Why are
all-
we doing this in December? Oh.
we signed all the same guy. We just signed all the same guy, which is why you're upset, right? Because they're doing it again. They're signing all the same guy, except this guy can play shortstop.
I think he's a good ball player. I just don't think this is what the team needs, right? And I think Ross Atkins is like, no, trust me. I think he can be that. It's like, he need like go out and get a player that is that, right? Not can be that.
But I don't think they're saying that. I don't think they're saying that Gimenez is gonna be the guy to solve the problems with the offense.
That's the point.
Who's saying that?
Is I want him. No. I want them to go and get players that solve this issue, right?
I do too, but that doesn't mean you can't get this guy, right? Who solves a different issue, which is, like I said earlier, a lack of a shortstop next year, and the year after, and the year after, right? That solves a pretty good issue there, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Willy Adames would have been better, but this is a good alternative.
So I think, again, like, Willy Adames, better offensive player. Andres Gimenez, better defensive player, right? Now, Willy Adames is going to cost you more money, right? But I think that's because he's a better offensive player, right? But that's just me, right? And pitching is better than ever. Everyone's throwing harder than ever. Whatever spin rate is more than ever. And that's why players that can hit well they cost a lot of money, right? I guess last to know, the Jays picked a player in the Rule 5 draft for the first time since 2018, Angel Bastardo. Yeah.
That name. Yeah.
I love it. I want that jersey. That's going to be the hottest. That's the hottest jersey. This is the hottest jersey since I wanted a McGuire jersey, which I will purchase in the new season. Number 8, McGuire, after cousin Reese, who honored us all.
In the parking lot?
In the parking lot. I know. It's so sad that like I've got to tell my like nieces and nephews who are quite little why they can't have Maguire jerseys. I mean, I'm not going to expel, and I won't say it, but I'm just like, yeah, I'll just be like, he was mean, and they won't get him. He was mean.
Mean.
No, it's funny because I had a peek at the roster today. Just who's on the roster, and I saw this name, Angel Bastardo.
I love
What
it.
the hell is this? I didn't see the Rule 5 tweet yet, and so I was like, "Who the hell is this guy? What a name!"
Well, and he has to stay on the roster too. There's like rules.
Yeah.
He has to stay on the
he's
roster,
40 man.
and if he doesn't stay on the roster, I think they like lose him, and they got to pay like $50,000 or something. Something along those lines. This is the quote that I'm just gonna read out, and then we'll end it. But this is Ross Atkins, right? Everything about him was attractive. The work, what fucking work, all right? Like, come on, like the work we did on his bat. You haven't done any work yet. Like you will do work with him now, Ross, because he's now your player. The work we did on his bat.
Well, I think he's talking about the evaluation of his bat and his underlying numbers and all that stuff.
Yeah, the work we did on his bat and the offensive impact can be there. This is my issue, Dustin. Is like I want it to be there, right? And this is
okay.
This is again. It's a hope, just like Dalton Varsho, 2 years ago. Anyway, this is my issue, right? Is they're claiming that their numbers are, well, they're using these numbers to say this is going to work out, right? Trust us, it's going to work out. Well, it's fucking not. I can tell you that right now. Anything else we need to address?
Well, clip that, and in August.
Yeah, when he hits 30 home runs this year, do it.
Yeah,
good. I'll be happy. I'll be happy.
I'm sure you will.
Right? Let's make this bet now. Let's put this in the stars. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Like.
Okay, hold on. All right. Yeah. No. Let's
Yeah.
do this. Okay. We're gonna do a little. We'll have a little pool. Okay. Do you want to do home runs? Do you want to do batting average? Do you want to do OPS plus?
OPS plus.
Okay, so I think that's an easy one. Is he a plus OPS plus guy? Is he over 100 or not?
You're gonna go over or under 100? I'll take the over.
Ooh, I don't know. I'm gonna take the over because I want this to work out.
I'm taking the under.
I know you're gonna take the under. That's why I'm taking the over and make it interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Home runs over under 10.
You know what? He's hitting in a different park. I don't know.
Just so you can make your decision. 2020 he had 3 home runs. 2021 5. 2022 17. 2023 15. 2024 9. Yes.
I'm going 12. 12.
So you're taking the over 10.
Yeah.
I'll take the over too. What is Cleveland? What is their park like? What is the park?
I think I'm gonna hazard a guess. It's more of a pitcher's park, but I don't count me on that.
I'll take the over anyways.
Okay, and last one we're gonna do batting average. And what do we pick here?
He's fairly consistent there.
I'm gonna say over under 260. By the way, I'm taking the under on the home runs because why would I take the over?
You're being the villain. I'm gonna do under.
You're gonna do under on 260?
Yeah.
Okay, so for reference,
man, I gotta take the over. I gotta take the over. Just make it interesting.
Just for 263, 218, 297, 251, 252. So you're gonna take the over, Dustin?
Sure, I'll take the over on everything.
I'm gonna take it under just for kicks.
You're such a fucking optimist. It fucking annoys me, man. Like, come on, join the dark side, all right? Like, Liz and I are going to be hanging Shapiro and Atkins in effigy soon, all right? So
yeah, I know.
But you're going to take the over. Liz, you said you're taking the under?
Yeah, just for kicks. Yeah, I don't know if it makes sense with the stats that I've picked, but I pick it.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I think I got some good kind of over-unders there. We'll see what happens. I'll take the under and everything. And you know what? He's still going to be an exciting player, right? So, not the worst case.
Absolutely. I was watching some of his defensive clips on Twitter yesterday. Holy shit, this guy's good.
Yeah.
Well, another
That'll be fun.
all team Gold Glove year 2 or 3 or whatever.
That's right. That's right. That's
Hang the
right.
banner.
Limp bats, full glove, can lose.
Hang the banners.
Hang the banner. Well, I don't give them any excuses to hang any other
No more
meaningless
banners. No more banners.
No more
The GG
stupid-
banners. The GG
stupid
banners.
fucking banners, man. GG banners. Imagine that. Well, actually, like you famously kind of use the Tampa Bay Rays as seeing all their wild card banners. Well, I don't think those wild card banners are hanging anymore. So
They're hanging. They're just hanging in the ocean. That's all.
They're hanging in someone's backyard.
in tatters, maybe. Yeah. By the way, did you guys hear the thing about the insurance on that?
No.
Do you know this?
No.
So Quentin sent me this article, and basically, so that they're planning a new stadium, right? So the city is like, well, we're gonna have a new stadium anyway. We're gonna lower the amount of insurance we have on this to save. I think they were saving like $250,000 a year. So they had the building insured. This is some like hardcore insurance talk here. They had the building insured for $100 million, right? And I think they lowered it to like 20 or 25 million
No.
to save $250,000 a year, and then the hurricane rolls through.
Oh, you dummies.
Brutal.
Well, that's what happens.
Yeah, that's what happens, right? So anyway, I Quentin sent me that, and he's like, "Oh, you're an insurance guy," because his wife is in the same department, so I think he knew I would be amused by it. But yeah, so anyway, yeah, the Tampa Bay Rays, no more wildcard banners on those walls.
What are they doing? They're playing at their Dunedin, or not Dunedin, but they're.
I think they're using the Yankees, I think they're using a Yankees spring training stadium, which that's gotta feel weird, but I guess like if it's in the area, it's in the area, right?
They'll probably have higher attendance.
They very well might. A mutual friend. Have you been to the Trop, Liz?
I can't. I don't want to. No, never.
So a mutual friend of Dustin and I has been, and he said it's the worst. He said it's absolutely awful. Like it is just an awful experience. And apparently, like one of the reasons they don't get it that many fans is like there's one road in and one road out.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
Yeah,
it's like
like
not.
to
You
get
can't get
there.
there.
It's just ridiculous. Like it's just absolutely the worst place to go. The worst atmosphere. Everything about it is just bad. So anyway. Liz, do you have anything to plug? Any baseball cards coming on?
No,
on
man.
eBay or anything?
No, nothing's coming on eBay. I want to keep my face out of the news, and I want to just stay inside until April. That's my update. Until opening day, which is like, or spring training. I feel like every time I'm like, man, spring training. I'm like, okay, opening day is in like 5 years, but catchers and pitchers report in like 2 weeks. I'm always like, it's sooner than you think.
What's a marker, right? When pitchers and catchers reporting is like, I feel like I was talking about it with a buddy, and he's like, it's a marker. It's like, okay, spring is coming.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, it's not here yet,
But it's coming.
but guess what?
It's coming.
It's coming.
And like I
right?
treat opening day as my New Year's. Opening day is the day when anything can happen. It's the day where I make like various vows to myself, various promises. Some are kept, some are not.
Love it.
Yeah.
I like that. Spring is
That's
a better
amazing.
New Year than
Yeah.
fucking January.
What's January about? I don't know, but opening day is the day I make the promises. Like if I have like a fitness goal, I'm like, by opening day, I'll be this hot. Yes.
Okay.
All right, Dustin, you want to read us out?
What with the socials? I don't know.
Yeah.
Go to Twitter and search for Station to Say. I don't know it off the top of my head right now.
Did you add the Blue Sky account I sent to you?
Not yet. Look,
Okay. He's a busy guy. He's
I'm
growing
really-
that beard.
Yeah.
Also, like
Yeah,
everybody's like
exactly.
go to Blue Sky, but like Twitter's still where the dirty party is at, like or X or whatever. Like I'm on Blue Sky, I'm on Threads, but like no, the party's still on Twitter.
It's definitely where the after hours party is.
I'll write up a thing next time and we'll have it on the tip of my tongue. But go find us there.
All right, Liz and Dustin, thank you very much for joining me.
somebody. That's it. It's like just float through the world.
Yeah.
Well, I have a buddy who we have a chat group, and it's like if any current event he's posting about, so I'm just like,
My
nah, I don't need to.
Yeah.
So
True.
anyway,
all right, boys, I'm gonna eat and go to bed because I haven't eaten yet. Because honestly, I don't have kids. I just do whatever I want all the time.
Yeah,
Wow.
I think it's definitely the cameras.
yeah, it's like as soon as we turn on the
anything.
camera, we can't even understand Liz anymore. It's like,
All right.
all right,
All right,
I'm gonna stop the recording. Thanks, and we'll chat soon.
later, buds.
All right.
Bye.
Yeah.
All right.
See ya.
Bye.